Copyright disclaimer under the section of 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research.
Providing real help for working people. To be working 50, 60 hours so you're able to meet your bills and pay your rent. This is not acceptable in today, the 21st century. Moral of the story, rate hikes may not be enough. Governments may need to give more relief, extend more support measures, and interest rate hikes alone will not solve the problem. In fact, they could backfire. A new report cites inputs from 53 economists. They say a recession is coming and that the next 12 months are going to be tough. There is a 44% chance of a recession this year, they say. On the basis of what? The war in Ukraine. That's the number one problem. There's a shortage of grains, wheat, barley, and corn. Plus, there are supply chain disruptions because of sanctions against Russia. And shortages lead to higher prices and higher inflation. It's as simple as that. Look at Argentina. It has been struggling with high inflation for years. The war in Ukraine only made it worse. Cost of living in Argentina has gone up by almost 70%, more than 70%. And if this continues, inflation will touch 60% by the end of this year. 43% of their population has already been labeled poor. More than 2 million citizens rely on food aid. They go to food banks to feed themselves. But now even food banks are out of food. So people are on the streets protesting. There are many people, many little children in the neighborhood who come to the soup kitchens for aid food, isn't it? There's a lot of hunger and a lot of poverty in the neighborhoods. The government has to come to the neighborhoods. Rising inflation, shortage of food, labor strikes, social unrest. This is the perfect storm. And the storm is hitting every continent. In some places, the protests have become violent. Let me show you. These pictures are from Brussels. 70,000 workers took to the streets today. There were strikes at the Brussels airport. Local transport networks came to a halt. What do these workers want? They want higher wages.
Now, this is worldwide, and this is exactly what Yahweh Shah, who they ignorantly called Jesus Christ, was saying when he just told his disciples, when would the end be? Now, when you go to Matthew 24, he tells you in verse 7, he say, for nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquake in diverse places. Now, the prophet Ezra told you the same thing, Ezra chapter 9. And it was talking about the end. Verse 1, it said, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when you see the part of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then thou shalt understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Look at verse 3. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. See, this is worldwide. It's uproars of the people, but due to the famines and due to inflation, and this is a worldwide thing. And so this is the signs. You jump back over to Ezra 6 and 9 and say Esau is the end of the world. So it's talking about the kingdom of Esau would be falling, and his world would come to an end when a certain signs start to happen. It says, and when the world, meaning the world of Esau, the so-called white man, that shall begin to vanish away, shall be finished. It says, verse 22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses, meaning the grocery stores, shall suddenly be found empty. Okay? This is when you're going to have uproars of the people. And the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, he shall suddenly be afraid. At that time, shall friends fight one against another like enemies. And so this is why you see uproars of the people, and you see nations rising up against nations with the wars. You see the pestilence with the so-called pandemics and virus outbreaks. You see food shortages and supply shortages, baby food, women's tampons, all kind of shortages that's going on, supply chain shortages or delays. And so this is the end of the world of Esau. This is the end of this government that we know of. Now, Daniel talked about these governments of these last days. Verse 40 of chapter 2, it said it was going to be a fourth kingdom or government shall be strong as iron. Okay? Now that fourth kingdom is the kingdom of Esau. Look at 44. It said, in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. See, it's going to be a kingdom to replace this kingdom. This fourth kingdom will be replaced with another kingdom from another set of people. That's why when you go back to 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, it says, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So when you go back to Daniel 2:44, it says, and in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom. So he's going to set up the kingdom of Jacob, the children of Jacob, right in the midst of the kingdom of Esau. It said, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. See, the kingdom of Jacob was going to break in pieces the kingdom of Esau. Look at what it say here in 20. Thou art my battle axes and weapons of war, for with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. See, the kingdom of Esau, that fourth kingdom, will be destroyed by the kingdom of Israel. But Jacob's name was changed to Israel, so that's why these other nations, or that's how these other nations is going to be broken into pieces. Go back to Daniel 4:44. It says, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So this is what is happening. It's the end of Esau's kingdom, and Jacob's kingdom is going to begin. Now you go to Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you. See, that devil, that deceiver, is Esau, the children of Esau. And for the devil has come down unto you, meaning his kingdom is fallen. He's having riots all over the place and famine. It says, for the devil has come down to you having great wrath, because he know that he have but a short time. So they know they have but a short time, so they're going to come after the prophets and the children of Israel, or the prophets which are the children of Israel. Now, when you go into 2nd Ezra 16, at the end, he gave what was going to happen at the end. And what 68, it say, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. See, that wrath is going to come to Esau when he know he has but a short time. He going to have great wrath. Look at verse 7. It says, for there shall be in every place in the next cities a great insurrection upon them that fear the Lord. So once he get this great wrath, then he coming after the Israelites, because he know their kingdom is next. They gonna replace him. They gonna was prophesied to destroy him. See, and so he's gonna come after the Israelites. And so that's where we at today. You see it all over the news that it uproars of the people, meaning the Lord is gonna visit the earth that he made and getting everything straightened out. Cause Esau, let's get that. Esau got the world in shambles. And Esau is known as the wicked. So look at what Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. See, the wicked is in rulership and people are protesting and rioting all over the place because the wicked is trying to cause a famine and inflation. They're causing it. See, because they're in control of the situation. Let's get that real quick, and I'm going to end it on that. Because I got to go to the plantation. Okay. It say, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. See, that's what these dragons is doing. They working evil on their beds, causing the uproars of the people in the end of their kingdom. It says, when the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. See, the America and the Edomites got the powerfulest military. So that military allowed them to orchestrate what's going on in the world. And the international bankers made America and organized America and planned on America. And so they are a part of the equation also, working the iniquity, devising iniquity and working evil on their beds. They have think tanks and have all these summits, and they work evil upon their beds to figure out how to come against the Israelites. Because they don't have, the Israelites, none of the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have any seats in the UN. They have nobody representing them but the prophets. So they're going to come after the prophets. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.